My complete slide deck, what you're about to see, is over 100 slides, so I pumped through them. They're available online on Slide Deck, or you just go to SlideShare under LinkedIn. And I also just tweeted the link if that helps you with the hashtag of today as well. So let's enjoy ourselves and let's go on a bit of a journey. So I was given a topic today to talk about Farm VR, and I appreciate that, and that's what we're going to talk about. But I wanted to also teach you as well. So I sort of twisted it and moulded it, and I'm calling it immersive education. It's a great topic, and it's a way that you can get your head around what immersive ed is. I'll teach you some skills, but then I'll also show you what I've done in terms of that space. So when it comes to the word immersive, literally just Wikipedia, a computer display generating a three-dimensional image which really appears that the user is in it, immersed. They're immersed in a computer-generated space. So that's what I'm going to be teaching you today, walking you through. So I've seen a lot of this being adapted around industry. I've been working with some marketing and sales people that are literally immersing their customers in these environments, particularly over in the Asian market. They're looking at how we're doing things in Australia through virtual reality. We're also looking at staff training. A lot of mines now, even some farming enterprises, are immersing their staff into these environments before they start on the job. Bankers and investors, they're actually, instead of travelling 1,000 kilometres out to look at cattle stations, they're actually now immersing themselves in this environment to save them driving out. I'm working with Australia Post. Now think of how many post offices are around Australia, and we've put together a platform where their marketing, merchandising and engineering teams in Melbourne are now beaming into all of their shops right around Australia, which used to cost them millions of dollars to travel to. Education, you guys, and that's the biggest part of what I want to do today. I want to get you guys to use immersive ed this year. And also entertainment. Disney's getting into it. Some of these crime investigative TV shows are saying, and for a more interactive experience, jump into our virtual reality environment and walk around the crime scene to see if you can solve the problem. So there's a whole lot of things that this is being used. This isn't just fantasy, it's here now. So what are the benefits? Well, I can tell you right now, it's engaging. I love watching people immerse themselves into Farm VR, which you'll see in a minute. But I just really think that it is engaging. And look, it might be a bit of a fad for the next few years, and I get that, that's what technology is. But it's this year that it's going to really take off. It definitely saves time and money. Think about the Australia Post. You know, Australia Post don't have to drive all the way around the country now to visit their stores. It provides access to new experiences. Just say, for example, you can't get into, let's go, a meat abattoir, okay? There's a lot of safety concerns, a lot of health concerns. Well, virtual reality allows people to go into these abattoirs that might not necessarily be able to do it. It allows you to go back and reflect. That's really good for learning. And I'm not a full-on teacher like a lot of you in the class today, but think about the idea of retrospecting and going back to an environment to go, oh yeah, I missed that when I was there last. And also it allows you to prepare yourself before you go. And Farm VR, I believe, is really good for that. Hey guys, we're going to go out and visit a dairy next week. I just want to take you inside one, show you what you're going to look at in VR before we head out in the bus next week. All right, let's start at the very top. Some of you have heard a lot of my presentations. There is some definitely new stuff for those that have seen me before. But we'll start off at the very bottom here, and this is called 360-degree photography. All right, so when it comes to 360 photography, that's all about immersing people in a 360-degree photo. So when I take a photo of you as an audience, click. It's sort of just like a rectangle, isn't it? All right, so there is a difference. 360 photography is even different than a panorama. Panorama is you sort of have a long photo. This one does the sun, does the floor, does the banners and so forth. Now, the word immersive, I'm going to keep mentioning it because that'll make you sound cool. Next time you go back to your staff meetings, you learn about immersive ed. we learn about this idea of taking our school on a virtual field trip. You know, it's a lot of money to put them on a bus. You know, let's put them on a virtual reality experience either before you go out, or you just simply can't afford to get there. Let's go over to Egypt to look at the pyramids. So this is the camera that I use when I take 360 photos. And look, they're not, unachievable. You can go and get these at JB Hi-Fi now. You know, when I set up my camera, I put it on a tripod and I actually pretend it's a human looking at me. Because it takes a photo of you, sir, and it will take a photo of me, and it will take a photo of you, ma'am, and it will take a photo of the Department of Education. It does everything. So really how it works is it's got two lenses. This lens is now looking at me and looking at 180, and this lens is looking at 180. You can see there it's got two eyes. A lot of the kids reckon it looks like Eva out of Wally. Eva. And so it flies into the classroom and it sits there, and I just look at it. Now the good thing about this camera, it's a Samsung Gear 360. This is $250. A lot of schools are starting to buy these now, okay? But what it does is it's synchronized, well, it has an app. So right now, I have my Samsung phone, and I have Bluetoothed it to my phone. So I can control this. Now the reason why I don't want to push the camera here, what would be a good reason for that there, Hardy? Oh, Hardy, hello. And what's the good reason for that? Yeah, it's taking your face, isn't it? So the big thing about this is you have to sort of hide. You don't want to be in the shot. So when I go around to a lot of farms and things, I have to look for a tree or a shed or go behind a car or whatever it happens to be. So right now, I can see you and I can see everything on my phone. And it's as simple as this. Taking a 360 photo is not rocket science. I've got an app, I've got a camera, and I'm about to push this. All right? So what I'll do is I'll take a quick photo of you. I reckon what's cool is hold your mobile devices up, give you some colour. Like a concert. There we go, thank you, that's the first. There, colour, 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 that's better. Alright, well we'll take a photo of the room and I'll give it to the organisers and they can do whatever they want with it. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. So that's taken you off the back, it's taken everything. All I need to do now is I just grab it, and what I do is I pull it from the camera down onto my phone. It's now stitching the two 180s to form the 360. So the next step would be to either upload that to Facebook, and it provides the 360. You can upload it to a few other sites, I'll show you that in 2 secs. But obviously, the best way to do it is to go into VR. So now, this photo is sitting on my phone just so I can see it, and at this stage here, I would then just put the camera into my VR headset, and wherever this camera was, just stand, you don't have to, but it's kind of weird when you do it. I'm now looking at that exact same photo where Eva was standing, and it kind of feels like I'm up on stage looking and I can see myself here and so forth. So I produced that photo in under 10 seconds. Imagine your classroom if you had one of these. And you took it to a place where you wanted to take your students to, but you couldn't get them to there, so you head out there on the weekend or on your holidays, whatever, and you take that camera, you go and get it. What if you gave it to your students to use? What if they handed in an assignment in 360? It's exciting times, and I really encourage you to think about it. Now, I'll show you Google Maps here. When it comes to Google Maps, you probably would have seen Street View quite a few times. And so you can upload these photos now quite easily to Street View. Google, what they want you to do is they want you to actually be a photographer. See if I can find this one. So here it is here, and if I click on this one here, watch this. This is their Google listing. It goes Oh. And this is one of my photos, one of many. And so here, this is using the same camera. You can even see inside Beechworth honey. And I'm standing over here. Alright? And so I've uploaded hundreds of these. And I've got a bit of a hobby. And so you can see here that I've got, if I have a look, let's see if I can just bring it up. I love doing this. You can go back and revisit all of the places that you've been. So now if I just zoom this out a bit, you can see these are all the 360s. And so if you wanted to zoom in to WA, you know, so forth. I don't know what Kingsley is. They're mining. Click on that one, and then you just go, whoa, and you go back and you revisit that environment. So Google wants you to actually go out and do this. So part of an assignment could be to get your kids to do some 360 photography work and then upload it to Google Maps. A lot of schools I work for get their students to take the actual campus. They go around and do the gym. They go around and do the cafeteria, the classroom. And you know, as a teacher, it's amazing to be able to see a school if you want to go work there. But what about parents checking out a new school as well? So they can do 360 visits to your school. Anyway, think about that as a bit of a side project. What if you don't have a, I'll just show you this first, one of these. You can just use this. What's the name of these? Cardboard, good. So this is a Google Cardboard. I'll be teaching you tomorrow in the workshop a lot more to do with this. But you literally can put your phone inside here. So this one's here, learn about wool, and AWI are producing 360 content for you to immerse your students in. But all you have to do is grab your phone, just your normal iPhone, Android, and you just put your phone into this viewer. And then you can also revisit places in the classroom. All right, more about that tomorrow. Stay tuned. But, you know, these are really nice, I get that, but they break. And the next thing you could maybe consider is one of these. So this here is $40. $40. It's not $500, it's $40. And you just get them delivered. You just put your phone in here. You know, you could get a class set, 10 of them, for $400. The thing is, though, you're going to need to have the mobile phones put in there, of course, but a lot of students have them. But if you were interested in exploring immersive ed, maybe something like this would be better to buy, and maybe buy them for the school and have them in the library and hire them out, or however your school works. What if you don't have one of these? We'll just download this app. It's called Google Street View. And Google Street View allows you to create your own 360-degree photography using your mobile phone. I'll be teaching you this tomorrow. But this is a really good way to get your students to download a free app and start taking immersive photos. And then they can use the app to look at it in 360. It's pretty impressive. All right, just say you wanted to do more with the photo. I use round.me. Let's just say I've taken the photo, it's sitting on my phone, and I've put it on my computer, just like you would a normal one. And so what I've done here, let's see if we can bring it up. This one here is a bit of an old famous one. I use this a bit in ACT. But this is Moxie Farm. And this is Australia's probably largest dairy farm. And you can see here what I've done is I've used a 360 photo and I can join different ones together. So I can click and now I can go down inside the pit. And so you can create free, this is free, you can take half a dozen photos and then you can, I guess, create these things called portals. But also note on there is this little eye. This little eye. See, what I can do is I can go into editing mode up in the top right-hand corner and I can drag these eyes down anywhere I want them. And what I can do is I can type, I can put in web links, and I can also insert JPEGs. You'll see up the top here it says take a quiz. So when I click on that, it then opens up Kahoot. And then so they've looked at, I'm in editing mode. I'll just go back into normal mode. I can come here, I can click here, and then I get taken to Kahoot. And so those that don't use Kahoot or don't understand it, it's just a quizzing software. I would need to sign in at this stage, but you get the technique. So you can use immersive education to check out an environment. They can go to different spots, and then if you want to, you can send them off to another site where they have to fill out a form, answer a quiz, upload a photo, and so forth. So that's using Round Me. All right, let's move along. The next level is 360 video. So what I need to do now is take you to another level. All we've done is taken photos so far, and that's okay. Pretty cool, actually. But we really want the environment to move. We want the cows to move, we want the, I don't know, the flag to blow, we want the tractor to move if we're talking about video. So this camera has two modes, a video mode and a photography mode, and all I have to do is quickly switch it. It's now on video mode. I can do that via the app as well. So if we're doing immersive video, just a couple of techniques. That's a person, and if you're starting to understand it, some of you are already doing this, I've seen a few faces in the room already, but this one here is the person looking at you in VR. So look at them. Look at them like they're there. That's a student. So when I'm recording a 360 video, I'm always sort of looking at the camera and looking in the eye and I'm pointing. Look, I just want you to have a little look at this Department of Education sign and see what I mean by this. I mean, and if you need them to take a closer look, you say, well, come over with me, and you have to pick it up. And then I slice the video at that point. But at the same time, that's how you do immersive video. I use a lapel. Okay, very important. The audio on here is pretty good, but a lapel mic going into a little sound thing is excellent. And then you marry that up in the editing studio later on. Again, you don't necessarily need to do that. So immersive video is here, and YouTube allows you to upload video. So it's educative. People love to watch it and learn, and it is exciting at the moment. So let's have a little look at some 360 video. So I thought we'd go inside a colon? Is that say? Oh, colon, yeah, thank you. So now we're in a 360 video. And we can use these controls up here. You can look up and down and around. I'm just streaming this on 3G or 4G. I don't think I'm on Wi-Fi at the moment. But, okay, that's kind of cool. All right, someone can go inside it, but what's missing here, do you think? So I'm watching it on a laptop. Where should I be watching this? Pardon? Yeah, so you just download the YouTube app, and then you do a search on inside the GI track, and then you just put the phone inside here, and then you're going down inside the column. You're actually in it. So 360-degree video. What about if you wanted to go to another step and learn about a plant cell? This one goes inside a plant.
Use it to convert water and carbon dioxide into sugar. This process is called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis happens inside the many green chloroplasts found around a plant cell. In the mitochondria, sugar that was created by chloroplasts is converted into energy packets called adenosine triphosphate.
There you go. So this one's available on YouTube as well. So maybe you're talking about, plant cells, or you're talking about whatever, and you want to be able to take them inside. Imagine if your students could then go inside the plant. This is available on YouTube as well. So think about this as a concept when it comes to immersive ed. Really start to challenge yourself and start to think, is there a spot for this in my classroom? And just make sure that you've got the YouTube app, okay? And the trick really is to do a search on 360 or virtual reality. So if you're looking for something that is immersive, just do a search on YouTube and throw in 360 or throw in immersive ed, throw in virtual reality. This one's a really good entry level if you just want to get your kids excited. I put this up as an option. Do Dolphin Encounter 360. Dolphin Encounter 360. And what's cool about this one, I won't play it, I want to move on, but this rover, this is looking through a mobile phone here, it actually comes up and nearly swallows the camera. So you're sort of like, the rover nearly grabs you. So this one's a little bit more exciting, I guess, than going down a column. But either way. I was just saying, I just showed them the plant cell. All right. So we're going from 360 video now, we're stepping it up to another level. I guess we're removing the camera, from this part of it, but we're moving up to virtual reality. So the next step, I guess, if you were calling this something, you may call it passive VR. Passive means we can just watch. But virtual reality means that we can touch. That's kind of maybe the difference if you're trying to get your head around it. So virtual reality allows us to interact with the environment. I walk around a lot. I should have got a lapel mic, shouldn't I, Daniel? All right, so this one here is set up for you to use at the conference. This is the Vive, and some schools have got this. I actually had a gentleman walk up to me this morning who has got this set up at their school. Something like this is going to set you back about $1,200 for the actual gear, and then you're looking at the computer to run it, which might be a gaming computer, it might be around $2,500 to $3,000. So this is about a 5K setup, but it may well be worth it. And I guess the big difference is have a look what he's wearing and also what he's holding. So he's holding these little, I guess they're handheld units, but they've got sensors on them. So this little thing over here throws off infrared, and these little dimples on this VR headset and also on the handheld units are interacting with this, this laser. And so the closer you are, the smaller the laser, and really you've got about a 5 by 5 metre space that you can walk around and interact with. So it's pretty cool. Again, it's $5,000, and sometimes it may be unachievable unless you get a grant or you've got some technology funds. But it's pretty cool. Like this one here I quite enjoy, it's called Easy Anatomy, and you can actually go in, you visit a museum. For those that are taking notes, this is the STEAM library. So you know how you've got the Google Play Store, you've got the App Store. When it comes to the Vive, their store where you buy apps is called Steam and also Vive Port. Either way, you need to download programs. This is quite a good one, and this allows you to go in and you can strip back a dog. You can get rid of the skin, you can get rid of the muscles, you can look at the skeletal system, you can look at the heart, and it walks around. And so it's just a way to, I guess, dissect a dog in VR. Now, if you didn't want to get a Vive, one of the recommendations I could maybe show you is this one. This is called the Gear VR, and notice the logo underneath. It says Oculus. So Oculus is a virtual reality platform. It's owned by Facebook, and I've got about 6 or 7 of these. Oh no, sorry, I've got 4 or 5 of these with me at the moment. But this is $120 for the actual headset, and then you need an S7 or an S8. So these phones themselves are about $900. So this kit is probably around $1,000, $1,200, and you can, I guess, save a little bit of cost. So the Oculus Store allows you to download apps as well. Again, it might be better, it's more portable, you don't have to have a facility set up, and you can carry that around with you. Or, let's just drop back to the bare bones, you can use your Google Cardboard that you've been given as part of the conference. Okay, so let me just take you on that journey. So let's think about what virtual reality apps are available for you to use. So I thought what I'll do is I'll do a couple of demos and get them working for you up on the screen. I've just put my foot in it now, I just got to go through it. Alright. So, phones. iPhone. Here. Just going to do a couple of technical things up here. Okay. So you'll note that I've got Google Cardboard. Could I please have just a volunteer up on the stage, please? Anyone? Come on, I'll have to pick someone out if you don't come up. What's your name? Nicole. Nicole, thank you, Nicole. From WA. Okay. So, Nicole, we can see what you're looking at on the screen. There you go. All right, Nicole, listen, have you done this before? Okay. So, this one here is the button. You've got to make it, yeah? Okay. Put it up to your face. Now, what I want you to do is turn around, and I need you to go to the Arctic journey. Keep going. We've had it stall this end, but may kick into gear. Just take it off the plate. Yeah. I can throw it back. Just stand over here if we can. Just right. Does this a little bit if we go too far. So she's selected now. All right. And her fly. Pushing all sorts of things here. But we can see here Nicole is immersed in the environment. So this one is just called Google Cardboard. It's just a demo app, but we get the idea. And all we're using here is my iPhone and our Google Cardboard. Alright, so pretty achievable. Thank you, Nicole. Alright, clap for Nicole. She's a brave one. Alright. So, what if you wanted to use this in your classroom? Well, what we'll do is we'll have a little look at some apps that you could potentially use. So here's one, Molecule VR. This one's available on the Play Store and on the App Store. So this one takes you into a molecule. You'll be able to use your cardboard and your own phone or your student's phone, and they learn about, you know, cells and so forth. Again, this is a free app on the App Store for you to use. What about learning about protein? This could be another good use for you in science, or learning about protein. Again, we're immersing our students inside a protein cell. We're not looking at a PowerPoint, reading a book or watching a television show, you know, they're in it. What about bacteria? This is another one that's available. And you'll note down in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see that tiny little cardboard. This is the little logo you need to look out for. When you see that, you know that you can activate 360. So that's another one. In mind, I know it's going out there a little bit, but this one here talks about the mind. And there's another one, in body. I just forgot to put that in it. And that teaches you about red and white blood cells. So that could be another good one for you, in body and in mind. So with all this knowledge, you know, I've sort of thought, well, what can I do to create something that's exciting for industry? And Farm VR was born. And so I just want to take you on a small little journey about how that unfolded. Can I just get like a 5-minute warning, 10-minute warning, so I can sort of losing track of time? So this one here is a student almost using the first time I put it together up in Swan Hill. And look at her face. You know, I've even got it plugged in to keep the battery running. But you can imagine, you know, this was a great day for me to say, well, what do students really think about this stuff? You know, I've travelled right around Australia and, you know, look at that. That was at the School of the Air in Longreach. I mean, they're banked up. They love this stuff. Now, a little student there looking at Farm VR. I've got a mobile bus. It's a classroom that I drive around Australia in. And she's sitting there on the bus looking at it. You know, I've been to a lot of places. This one here is in WA. I believe I'm going to say Mandurah. This is at Truffle & Co. And this is a truffle dog. And so we've created a VR experience learning about where truffles come from. I even went to a shearing shed out at Oak Hill in WA. And I got to learn about everything from getting the sheep to shearing them, to taking them right through to classing the wool, to packing it, to loading it. Went up to Emerald in Queensland and learned about cotton. Went under the ocean in Tasmania and learned where our salmon is born. And this was when they actually get put out in the seed pens. But we went all the way from the embryos right through to the fry, to the getting transported to the ocean, to getting sliced and diced getting cooked. Learning the difference between different wool. I mean, I wasn't sure, you know, why was this one better than that? And who better to tell me than a judge that has been doing it for 30 years. There's the camera, and your students can be learning from this gentleman. Sorry, I don't remember his name. Pardon? Ken Walker. This was in Emerald. This is at a college, an ag college, learning about equestrian. Equine. This is when I had shit on my face. when I was in a dairy. But again, let's take the cows, let's bring them into the dairy, let's milk them. Here we're learning what makes a good steer, all about the size and the weight and the condition. And this is at Herbray Ag School in Adelaide. And so it's been a journey, you know, this is cutting edge. No one's ever done this before. And I've really enjoyed, you know, the media, they're onto it. They were just out there the front before. People have never been to dairies. They've never been to a cattle station. This is probably the best we can do for a lot of them. Look at his reaction. That's another thing Farm VR does. It's farmer to farmer, not just teacher to student to whatever. So we've even developed some mental health VR experiences. So the farmer watches it and then learns about mental health. So we're heading down that path as well. And this was probably the pinnacle of Farm VR's career so far. we went to the Perth Royal Show and we immersed people into that environment. It was incredible. Look at him, he's flying there, flying above the salmon farms in Tassie. Crowds gather, don't they? Been impressive. This is on the Think Digital Coach. It's a mobile classroom I have. This is your classroom in about a week. But isn't it interesting? I did a search on immersive education and all I brought up was Japan. You know, there's not too many people doing this yet, so it's pretty cutting edge and you can really go forward and try and work this. That was the challenge actually. How many schools have that many headsets? None. A couple, but not many. So I decided to flip it, and today is the official launch, I guess, of Farm VR version 2. And I'm really excited to announce that right now you can download it from the App Store and you don't need a headset. Yay! But it's not as immersive, but a lot of students have iPads and tablets. And so what I'll do is I'll quickly show you that. So you can download Farm VR from Google Play and the App Store. If you're keen enough, you can go to the Oculus store if you've got a Gear VR, and I can send you the Vive as a zip file if you want to load it locally if you've got a Vive. Now, what we've launched today is the ability that I have a VR headset or I don't have a VR headset. And so if you were to click the one on the right, the students now can just literally look at this screen. And that's the exciting thing, I think, because the biggest cost for me was, seeing that people couldn't, disappointment, cost, whatever word I want to use, was that it wasn't getting adapted into schools because of the need to go and buy these headsets. If you're installing Google Play, the Android version, I've just got a slight glitch at the moment. Apologies, it's literally hours old. You have to go back to the Google Play Store to find the icon. I'll have that fixed within the next 24, 48 hours. But at the moment, you just go to Google Play and you hit it, and then you open it. And so you can see here on my screen, I can now interact with Farm VR on my actual device. So I can have headphones on, and if I was to select something, for example, if I was to select sheep, I could then go into this stage. And these are some experiences. I can learn how to brand, pack, look at the wool table, shear a sheep. I can even watch, this is incredible, this one, I can even watch a lamb being born. Lamb in Pistacia. Either way, the lamb was stuck. And, the teacher, the ag teacher, pulled the lamb out and was talking you through it as he was pulling it out. And then, God forbid, the lamb, the ewe goes away, and then she comes back and does the colostrum, but then she drops another lamb right there. So I had Hollywood, was perfect. And so that's a really good one to immerse your students in. A lot of these ones here are just demos, so please understand that some of these aren't aligned to the school curriculum. Alright, however, I can say today that we have aligned some of these experiences, and it just got launched about an hour ago, and we've been working with Tassal, which is one of the sponsors here, and we've created 12 immersive experiences related to aquaculture that are aligned to the school curriculum, and we've even given you the subject codes and so forth as well. But this is the next scene. Here you would click play, but here's another thing. You can stream it or download it. Download it to the phone, download it to the device, and you never have to download it again. That saves heaps of data for the people that are out in the bush. So, and you can download the high quality is my recommendation. This is just a VR experience here. You can see that I am now, just got a couple of screenshots. I will keep moving forward, but that one there, you would just click on sheep, you would click on penning sheep, you would click on download if I wanted to. I'll just click play, just so I can move forward. And now, I'm in the video. Alright, so your students are going to be all going like this, but that's okay, let them, you know, and so I'm very proud of that. Now, the one thing I want to know is that there's a thing called premium content. Don't run from the hills, I'm not going to charge you anything, but what you can do, I'll just go here, is that you will need to sign up to unlock the content. Alright, that's purely for me to start to get an understanding of who's using it. I will build a database, and as I release new content, I'll email you to say, hey, we've now got poultry. You can email me back and say, hey Tim, we want horticulture. I don't mind, but this is a way. So to unlock the content, it is free. You literally just have to register. Once you sign in once, it unlocks everything, okay? Once you unlock some content, you can go flying over the salmon farms down there in Hobart. The kids love that one. They look up at the drone and they look down. And what was crazy about this one is that we actually went down inside the water and I used an underwater camera. So then they're swimming and all the salmon's all around them. It's pretty cool. This one here, yeah, she was a scientist and she dissected a fish and she works you through the school curriculum. She says everything perfectly. It was a little bit scripted, but it needed to be, and it was pretty cool. Alright, so what have we done that's even better? Well, we've designed lesson plans for you. Now, we've allowed you to go on to Farm VR now, and you just go into schools, and then you click on lesson plans. I've uploaded 2 lesson plans just to see if you like them. Let me know, email me, help me design them. However you want to work, I'm looking forward to it. But you can download these lesson plans. I've done one here for Year 9, and one from 10 and 11 and 12. These were written by an ag teacher who teaches these. Alright, so you'll be able to then go down and download them. It'll tell you how to use it, what experience you need to use, and it'll give you some exercises and so forth. So that's pretty exciting. The other thing you can do though is you can go under Prime Zone. Those that aren't using Prime Zone, it's a website where you can go down and download some amazing resources to learn about agriculture. Okay? All you have to do is filter it by Farm VR. You can see here I've done that. Let's see if this fancy thing works. Look. So Farm VR. Right? And when you do that, it'll bring up all of the instances, and that's pretty cool as well. It'll give you the subject codes, it'll tell you download it, it'll show you a preview, so you can actually watch it before your students are put inside it, and you can work out whether or not it will help you in the classroom. How does that sound? Good? Trust me, you guys are going to be pretty cutting edge if you start to do some of this stuff, alright? There's no one else doing it. This is first in Australia, if not the world. So you really want to try and have a crack at this and give me some feedback. So we need a couple of people to come up and see me today, tomorrow, and I'm here a little bit on Wednesday. But I need people to test this in the classroom. Hardy's having a bit of a crack at the moment. We've got a couple of others in the room that I recognise. I'm also happy to pay people to help me write lesson plans. So if you are interested, I'll certainly work with you. And I'm working with Pat a little bit on lesson plans towards the future. But if you want me to come out and film some experiences, that's another option. So if I'm around or if I fly in, we can do it together. I also am happy to coach you, meaning that we can have a weekly phone call or a Skype conversation or beam me into your classroom. If you want to start using this, I'm here to help you. So don't think that I'm just going to push you off and expect you to sail on your own. My recommendation is to go on to farmvr.com.au and sign up to my newsletter, and then you can just become part of the community moving forward. Alright, so to end off my presentation, to extend my presentation, I'm now going to talk about something that's probably the most exciting reality that's coming through. And this is known as, well, should I?
We can have some question and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to demonstrate Farm VR up on the screen. But I think we've got enough slides that everyone gets the idea. Yeah. I'm just not going to fill white space for the sake of it. I'll spend a little bit of time on this puzzle. All right, so augmented reality is the last thing I'm going to be talking about in terms of these realities. So the first one was 360-degree photography. The second one was 360-degree video. The third one was virtual reality. Okay? And then the last one is this, augmented reality. Augmented reality places digital objects into our world. So this is an example. I've held my phone up here, and what it's done is it's dropped a marker in front of me. From a technical point of view, all it's done is instead of looking at my Google map, it's now lifting my head because I'm holding my device here. So it's just taken me from looking down to looking up. And won't that be a wonderful world when we have people looking up and walking the streets? All right? So that's kind of where we're heading with AR. We're looking up. And we're holding our device and we're finding Pokemon Go all around the world. Because that literally is how Pokemon Go works. There's a map with GPS locations and bang. But we're using our phones because the market is only so new and the phone is only the most powerful thing we've got. But there's a few things coming out. So this one here is a Meta 2, M-E-T-A, Meta 2. This is one of about 50 augmented reality wearables, glasses, that are coming out onto the market to allow us to look up. And so when we look up, we can see digital objects because the headset overlays them. You know, it puts it in front of us so we can touch it. You know, literally, we can actually have digital matter in our hands. This lady here is actually creating a vase out of digital matter. She's moulding it and moving it. The actual headset's got a tracker on it so it knows where your hand is. And what you can do is you can make these digital objects and you can move them over to this little round circle, and then you sit it on the round circle, and then it sends that file to the 3D printer and starts printing the vase. So it's sort of like the modern day pottery, isn't it? And so this is serious stuff. I mean, our world is going to be surrounded by digital objects. It already is. Just how we access it. This is probably the latest one on the market. This is $5,000, this particular headset. But it's the first and it's probably the best on the market at the moment. And so it's known as a daiquiri smart glasses. And what you'll see in a minute is some people wearing them, and you'll be able to see these digital objects being put in front of them. So you can see there, she's walking up to the plane jet engine and it's overlaying instructions. Fascinating stuff, isn't it? And so AR is probably the next thing that you need to be aware of. All right? So I thought I'd have a bit of fun and create some AR. The app that I use to create this AR is a new one that some people haven't used yet. It's called Augment. I need the brochure from our conference, if anyone has one, please. And when I hold my phone over this Learn About Wool, my camera picks up the Learn About Wool. And puts a sheep on. So, you know, the thing is, if we were wearing, just a bit unfolded, it's working as best I can. Just not tracking as well as I could have done. And so this here is a sheep. I'll just take a photo of you all. There we go. So what I've done here is I've overlaid a 3D model that I had created. You can buy these on Turbo Squid, if you're technically mine. You can buy them for about $30, or I have someone who can create them for you if you've got ideas, or you know, I can work with you. But what we're looking at here is a 3D model that's been created. It's been uploaded to Augment. I've pinned the sheep to Learn About Wool, and when the camera picks it up, it puts it onto the piece of paper. So it's exactly the same as if we were wearing glasses. You could be walking around with the glasses on, or you could be reading the newspaper, or you could be reading a textbook, or you could be looking at a sign, and then the camera on the headset or on the phone picks it up and places on you. Really? Yes. So I work with teachers to actually put you into the actual textbooks. So when your students are at home, they hold the iPad over, and then you come up on the textbook. Hey, are you reading this? But on a serious note, you can actually flip the classroom using this style, and you can create a series of videos that are embedded into pages of a book or handouts. And when they get home, they hold their iPad over the, let's just call it barcode, they're called trigger images, and then it picks it up and starts playing you, or it puts a 3D model on. And so our plan in the future, with potentially wool innovation, is that we'll be able to strip back that wool, strip back that skin, get into the actual digestive system or get into the actual skeletal system, and we'll be able to interact with that. And so that's what you can do with a lot of these objects. You can interact with it. So that's called augmented reality, and you can do a lot with that, and some of you might not have seen that, but again, I got that 3D model sheet produced for this conference, and you know, it wasn't overly difficult, and then I was able to upload it to Augment and overlay it into my environment. You'd be able to do that one, Hardy, wouldn't you? Cluck AR? Yeah, so we just mentioned Cluck AR. Cluck AR is when you've got the egg boxes and you hold your phone over the egg boxes, and it shows how close the chickens were in terms of were they free range or battery. And yeah, so sometimes the boxes have got 1 or 2 chickens on them, and sometimes they're just all crammed in like sardines. So I've been using Augment for about 4 years now. There is another one called Erasma, and so forth. Thanks. And I'm using Reflector right now to put up my device, if you're interested. And here's a backup I had. All right, so in summary, and workshop tomorrow is I literally teach you, I don't just show you. But in summary, these are some of the things I'd love you to consider doing. Let's just go through these. I'd be really interested in you taking some 360-degree photography. Use your mobile phone, which you'll learn tomorrow, or buy one of these cameras for $250 and start experimenting. Why don't you watch, or, God forbid, take some 360 video and start using that in your teaching methods. You can buy a VR headset, they're $40. You actually have been given one as part of the conference. I'd love you to integrate Farm VR into the classroom. Push me into a corner and make me swim out. Alright? So that's how I work. And Alicia, you send photos every now and then of people wearing Farm VR and so forth. And there's people like Alicia over in WA who are pushing me to produce this for you. No one's this isn't just something you just happens. This takes a lot of work. But I need people to get excited, otherwise I'll just find something else to do. Alright, help me produce some lesson plans. Download those ones that have been produced by Damien and see what they're like, and maybe you could say, hey Tim, I'd love to do some more, what have you got? You could watch a few of them and say, cool, I reckon I could do one for that, and I'm more than happy to pay you, or you could just work together with me for the goodness of education. And experiment with immersive education. So when you go back to your, team meetings, you could say, look, I'm starting to introduce some immersive ed in the classroom. I think this is what we need to be looking at. Be the leader, all right? And this is your opportunity to do so. So without further ado, that's my details if you need to get in contact with me. I'm happy to take a few questions, and the other thing is, if you want to come and experience Farm VR, I've got 5 headsets. So over lunch, you'll be able to come over and see me in the corner, put on the headset, tap away, learn, have a bit of fun, and see whether or not this is something you want to explore. So I think we've got about 10 minutes left for questions if you want to, otherwise we can potentially break a little bit early for lunch. I'm not the convener, so you can do whatever.
I think if anyone's got some questions, keep in mind that Tim will be running the workshop, but he's covered quite a lot, Tim. So if there's anything that you specifically want to ask around the content that Tim has covered this morning, we have got about 10 to 15 minutes to do that. We don't have roving. Yeah? Okay. Do you ever help your staff at tranships? Thanks. Anyone with questions?
I've got plenty to show.
The drone and the 360 camera, they work together nicely, no problem?
The drone and the 360 camera work together, no. What I had to do is I had to build something underneath the drone.
Yeah. Go on.
So all I did was I just got a bit of perspex actually, and I cable tied that to the drone feet, and then I just got one of these, which is just off a tripod. And then I actually cable tied that to the perspex, and then I just screwed that on. And so when the drone goes up, it takes the camera up. And you've got to catch it because it'll hit the ground. You've got to catch the drone. But you just flip it in the editing studio and bombs away. And the good thing about drone footage at 360 is that they can look anywhere. So they feel like they're flying. Like when you go over this big pivot, I go around and you fly and you look at the pivot, and then you fly down right over the pivot back to the pump. The kids love that. Yeah, so that's how I did it. There's nothing on the market yet. I had to build one. I'm sure that there are. I haven't looked for about 3 months. I'll just show you this one. This is something that it is worth showing. See if I can bring it up. So in terms of interacting with AR, that's an important thing to note. So I've just put this building up on the table, okay? It's sitting there. Now just say this was a sheep, and this is where I really want to head with this, is that you touch the wool, and it removes the wool. Okay? So you can see here, now I can see this floor plan. So I can click it again and go down another level. And so this object is still sitting. So imagine if you had glasses on and you were doing this, you have 2 hands, see? I've got 1 hand, that won't work. But if I want to, I can actually now go closer. And and then I go into VR. Now I'm in the room. So that sort of couples together both of them.
So potentially we can take the sheet, go to the wool fibre, go inside the wool fibre, write down each layer, which ties beautifully with the properties of materials in the curriculum. That sort of thing is possible with that technology.
Yeah, I think in terms of, there's two different things. So one is that there's immersive photography, which allows us to film someone shearing, and then, you know, if a guy was holding or a girl was holding the wool and was pulling it apart to show the microns, you could film that. But if you wanted to go inside the microns, then we go to sort of animation, I guess. And that was one of the examples that I showed earlier when we went inside. These ones here, like that's animated. All right? So there will always be a point in time where we'll probably have to go into animation rather than photography. I just will get Farm VR running. I think it's, see if I can bring it up. I'll show it up here on the screen. It's funny because I got told 45 minutes as I stepped up on stage, so they threw me. I don't know why I got told that.
Sorry, I hope it's not boring you.
Come on, you can do it. Really struggles with this part. This one. All right, one more time. So this is Farm VR, and this is in what's called gyro mode or single VR. I'll do my best. I just have to stand really close. And so I can go to home. I can select fish. I can go back. I can select sheep. And so depending on what I want to select. Now you'll note also that I'm logged in. I can log out if I wanted to, but I am logged in, so I get premium content. If I wanted to, I could go into sheep. I can scroll through and maybe I might go to penning. I can download it if I wanted to, or I could stream it. I can choose high quality or low quality. That's if you've got data issues. And I can just play it.
Hey guys, check this out. Shearer's got no more sheep left in the shearing pen. The wool press is about to pull it up. Spin around and have a look.
Then, if I wanted to, that allows them to look at that.
What a hard job, this.
And if you look at the top there, you'll see VR. If I click into VR, it then goes into VR mode. Alrighty? So, you could then put it into here. Play.
Hey guys, check this out. Shearer's got no more sheep left in the shearing pen. The wool press is about to pull it up. Spin around and have a look. Drop this.
If you want to stop, just click.
Sometimes some animals, they not.
You go back. Yeah, okay. And the crime zone one's pretty impressive. All right, I'm going to call it quits. If there's no other questions, come and see me over in the corner. Please join Farm VR, be part of the movement. If you guys get excited, I will, and I'll continue to produce content. I've been approached by Conf Australia. They're very interested in producing content. Hopefully Wool Innovation will move down the track and we'll be able to get some really good stuff in terms of wool. I'm working with elders at the moment, and we're doing a lot with bulls and auctions, so we're working with them, and also with the Royal Agricultural Society of WA. They're actually producing content to help young judges. So we've already filmed it. So if you've got any inspiring young people that want to show their sheep or their cattle, they'll be able to go into Farm VR and learn from some of the best judges in Australia, telling them what they look for when they're showing sheep or showing cattle. So thanks very much, Kat. Hopefully that all suited everybody's purpose, and good luck with Farm VR and Immersive Edge.